What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we are jumping into I Am Batman, issue number 0. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the Infinite Frontier, you haven't been keeping up with Future State, this is a great place to start, because this is introducing us to the next Batman, the Batman of Future State. Because Future State, it gave readers a preview of things to come with Jace Fox as the new Batman. Picking up after the events of the next Batman's second son, we see Jace Fox thrown into the action as the Magistrate are now descending upon Gotham City. Now, this story is written by John Ridley. The pencils are Travel Foreman. The inks are Norm Rapman. And it's colored by Rex Locus. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 0 of I Am Batman, we're picking up with Tim a little bit earlier on. In Japan, doing his training, trying to figure out exactly who he wants to be. Because he knows he wants to be some kind of revolutionary. He knows he wants to make a difference and try to help people. And what's significant about this day is this is the day that he chose his new name. This is the day that he chose his war name. This is the day that he adopted the name Jace Fox. And then we're brought back to present day, currently in Gotham City with the rest of his family, now planning to do some extracurricular activities at night, trying to be some kind of vigilante. He decides it's time to move out of the Fox residence. That way he can do this all in secrecy. And now we've seen in the Batman's second son, we saw him working with his father. In doing this, he stumbled upon one of the Batsuits. And currently, as it stands, Batman is nowhere to be found because the Magistrate has kicked into high gear. The Magistrate being an organization of military prowess. They were hired by the mayor. They hired Simon Saint and his Magistrate with his peacekeepers. Their job is to hunt down all masked individuals, all vigilantes, as well as any terrorist organizations that are within the city. And we saw a lot of this going on in Batman and all of the current Batman lines right now. We are seeing this all transpire. And so this story is picking us up a little bit after those stories. This is picking us up when the Magistrate have already kicked it into high gear. When the Magistrate is already doing their best to try to take out all of the vigilantes. And that's what will take us to Alleytown. Because Alleytown is where they're trying to really implement the Magistrate's rule. This is where they are beginning their assault on all of Gotham City. And right now we see the people and the police, they are clashing with one another. And with this clashing, we see rocks thrown. Because these rocks are thrown, we see the police officers, they move in and they start beating the crap out of everybody and anybody that is within their vicinity. Seeing everybody as a target, knowing only a few individuals were throwing rocks, the police start going and just beating the crap out of them with batons. And this is what's going to take us to the commissioner's office. And right now she is losing it because those demonstrators, they had a permit. They had every right to assemble there. They were not doing any kind of property damage, and though a rock may have been thrown, they needed to have some kind of discipline. They needed to hold their bearing. And because of what they did, this is going to make the next demonstration probably much more violent and much more hostile. This is only creating disdain and distrust between the people and the police of Gotham City. Now, this is the part in the story we pick up with Lucius Fox and Jace Fox. Them having a conversation on what he is doing. Because right now he's working late, he's doing extra work, or at least that's what it appears to his father. Because at the end of the day, Lucius Fox, he really believes that his son is doing his best to try to turn his life around and serve his father. But the reality is, he's trying to break that Batsuit. That way he can use it to go out and try to help people. To try to be that symbol of hope for everybody. And like most superheroes, he has that one individual that is always talking in his ear, and that individual is Vol. Now, while Jace has been doing out everything that he has been doing, Vol has been working actively to try to break into the Batsuit. But as it stands, he isn't able to break in. He's found a back door to the operating systems, and right now he is super close to unlocking the activation codes. But the question is, even if we get this unlocked, what are you gonna do with it? And he tells him, people like his father, like Bruce Wayne, they use this tech to make Batman into their private soldier. And now the Magistrate is using it to make a private army. And so what he wants to do is bleed it of all of its tech and repurpose it to try to be the next vigilante. And the whole purpose is to make sure that people who believe themselves to be above the law aren't actually above the law. That they need to know that the things they think protect them can be used against them. And while they're having this conversation, Vol lets him know that he's tracked down those 6 individual left-wing radicals that he had found earlier. Now, they had disappeared for a minute, but after doing some hacking, he was able to locate where they are. Using a cell phone ping of at least one of the radicals, they're still in Gotham City. And so Jace wants to figure out exactly what they are doing, what they are planning, and what they really are doing in Gotham City. And so we see him hop on a motorcycle and he takes off to investigate. And as he gets close to this warehouse, he throws on a ski mask because as it stands, he doesn't have a symbol. He's not portraying himself to be Batman or anything like that. He is just trying to help people. But upon getting to this warehouse, he sees 2 individuals. They both seem to be planting explosives, but they don't really appear to be radical individuals. And so he drops down. Dropping down, he beats the crap out of both of these guys, and he learns exactly what he needs to learn. Because after he beats these 2 guys up, he calls the phone that they had pinged from. Calling this phone, it leads him to a back room where there are 6 body bags. Assuming that these are the left-wing radicals, somebody has killed them. And they're trying to make this look like something else. But when he comes back into the room, he sees these 2 individuals activating the bombs. In doing so, one of them runs away, and Jace has to carry the other out before the entire building freaking explodes on them. And barely able to make it out in time, the giant fiery explosion behind him, they get thrown into the water. Getting thrown into the water, taking that blast, they are both knocked out unconscious. And when both of them come to, they are on the shoreline. And Fox is standing above this guy, demanding some kind of answers. And he lets him know that those bodies, they were already there when they got there. They were hired to blow that building up and try to create some kind of distraction for what's going on in Alleytown tonight. With the demonstration going on, they needed something to deter the attention away from what's about to happen. And so he hops on his motorcycle and he takes off, getting in contact with Vol, telling him that it was all a trick. It's all a sleight of hand. A false flag operation is going down in Alleytown, and they need to get there as soon as possible. Because right now in Alleytown, there is a couple individuals in the crowd that have guns. And it is their intention to spark a war. And the only way to stop a war from breaking out on these streets is to bring a freaking tank with you. And that's where we pick up with the demonstrations going on. With everybody protesting, we see a couple individuals pull out pistols and start firing at the police. And at this point, the police are doing their best to try to not to shoot anybody, to try to not open up on this crowd, because that's the last thing they need right now. And in the midst of all of this, we see some smoke grenades thrown out into the middle of everything. And from that smoke, a shadowy figure appears. That shadowy figure appearing to be Batman. And using the HUD system, he starts detecting individuals inside the crowd. Individuals that are armed with pistols, trying to take out these guys because they are the main perpetrator of everything going on, trying to start this war. And so we see Batman run in and do his best to try and get rid of these guys, to try to disarm them. But from the police perspective, it looks like Batman is just simply attacking civilians. And so they lock up their guns and they're ready to get in this fight. Locked and loaded, they are ready to dish out some punishment and enforce the law. And after Jace has essentially neutralized all of these threats, he turns his back only to have the police shooting at him. And in this suit, it really doesn't feel anything, so he turns around and he tries to have a conversation with them. Try telling them that they're making a mistake, that he is on their side, trying to explain the situation to him. But this is when Batman gets hit with a freaking rocket, sending him flying in the opposite direction. This is where we see the peacekeepers, the robotic peacekeepers. And they are not here for anything other than targeting the mask. Their job is to take out vigilantes. And right now, Batman is in their crosshairs. But the only issue is, the suit is not operational anymore. It is not working after taking that hit. And so because of this, Valve puts this into chaos mode. And from the back of the suit, we see 4 grenades shoot out. They shoot out and send a blinding light in every direction. Not only that, but it also creates some smoke. And the peacekeepers, they keep laying into the suit, only to realize that the suit is now empty. Because chaos mode was a mode to help him be able to get out of the suit and escape without anybody near him realizing this. And so temporarily able to get away, we see him in an alleyway, really just beating himself up because he just effed up so freaking bad. Yeah, he may have stopped a slaughter, but that's not how it's playing in the public eye. In the public eye, it looks like Batman attacked civilians. It looks like Batman started a riot. It looks like Batman cannot be trusted. It looks like Batman is nothing more than a thug. You know, he wanted to be a symbol. He wanted to use this tech to help people. But all he has done is make a mess of things and tarnish the Batman name, even more than it has already been tarnished. You know, he tried to appropriate a symbol of his father's power and privilege, and so he created a monster. And so if he's going to inspire change, he can't just be a creature of myth and in the shadows. He has to be an instrument of violence. He has to show people that he is real. He has to show people that he is there for them. He has to show them that he is Batman. And so the journey begins. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with all of the Batman lines with the Infinite Frontier following the Future State event, you may be a little confused on who Jace is, why there's a new Batman, why he's a black guy, so on and so forth. Like, there's a lot of questions you may have. And all of those questions can be answered in Future State and in the Batman lines going on, as well as Future State Gotham. Because what we saw is Future State really taking Batman and making him a criminal. Most of the people believing him dead, even the Bat family. But he got defeated. Peacekeeper took him out, and he uses this as an opportunity to lay low and truly plan his revenge against the Magistrate, to bring them to justice for everything that they have done. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.